Hey everybody, welcome to this little guitar tutorial on how to make some really good pads using no volume pedal. So as you can see here, I'm going to play a simple E chord. Got a little bit of overdrive on it. Let me actually switch to this overdrive here. So you can see it's a little crunchy, loud, nice overdrive sound. Now when I turn on this RV5, as people are normally accustomed to using in a lot of settings, you can hear that nice long reverberated modulation setting. And when I add in some delay, it gets even bigger. So whenever you hear people play pads, you might be accustomed to the sound of either a volume pedal swelling, like this. I don't have a volume pedal, so I use my knob on my guitar. And then switch chords. But when you do that, you lose volume, right? It's very up and down, which is good for certain dynamics if that's what you're looking for. But what if you want a consistent pad sound that doesn't ever dip down and have to lose any volume? You can keep your volume up, you can keep your volume pedal up if you have one, and you just get a nice, straight, consistent sound. So as you see here, on my reverb, or on my delay pedal, I've got the mix quite a ways up. That's about, 70-ish% of the way up. Here on my RV5, I've got the effect level all the way up. It's on modulate setting, the time all the way up, and the tone almost all the way down. You can mess with the tone, to your liking. But that's what created that sound that you've already heard here. So watch what happens now when I have those up and I do this little technique I call tickling the strings. I tickle them just barely. And you almost get like a pad sound that you would hear on a piano. I can do it lower. It's just kind of consistent. And once other instruments are going, there's no way that you're going to hear those individual picks. I'm just barely tickling the strings, if you can see it down here. Barely touching them. And then you want a slower tap time on your reverb. You don't want to have it super fast. You don't want it to be super slow. Just, somewhere in the middle. And if you have your reverb routed after your delay, like I do, it's going to be a little bit less of a sound. If you have it routed before your delay, it will have a bit more of an effect. But I like to keep it a little bit less, especially in a live setting. The RV5 is great for that because the RV5 is a lot thinner than my Hall of Fame. I've made here a custom tone print on the Hall of Fame, which is designed for pads. If I were to turn this effects all the way up, it would actually be overwhelming. Turn my decay up a little bit, the tone's fine. But watch how strong it is with both of them on now. It's great for recording. Just by myself, you can't even hear the individual picks. And again, I'm just barely tickling the strings. But I can also pick out individual notes higher if I want to. And make that sound really nice. But for now, I'm just going to leave the RV5 on because it's much more practical in most people's settings. So when I'm using that RV5 and I get that nice pad sound, I could play a whole song or a whole intro to a song, a bridge, any mellow part, and just kind of fill in the background. And that's the example that I want to show you now in context. Okay, so let's try it in the context of a song. First, let's go clean. And this song is called Name Above All Names by the Campbellsville Vineyard. So listen to how it really complements the piano part. I'm going to start around the same range as the piano and then move to a part that complements it even more. And you will hear a little bit of the picking just because it's a recording. Live, you're not going to really hear it. I'm just barely tickling the strings here too. Let's add a little overdrive. This is where it really starts to shine. But now let me go to a different range down here. So now I'm in a different range than the pads on the keyboard are, but I prefer keyboards usually to be in the higher range. I'm sorry, keyboards in the lower range and guitar to be in the higher range. Okay, and now let's go ahead and listen to it again, and this time with the difference of the pads being turned on and off. So right now you have them, you don't have them. You still have the ones on the keyboard. Now the guitar is back. This is where I kicked on the overdrive, right about here, so let's wait. Now it's back on with the overdrive, right there. You can hear it. No pads. And of course the volume's up a little bit higher so that way you can really hear it. So it's back on in the lower range now. Let's go ahead, raise it so you can hear what's going on. But then settle it back down. If I was mixing, it'd be way down here. Maybe even further down. Somewhere in that range. So there you have it. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, you can always contact me through my website. It should be down in the description below, or leave a comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Thanks.